Cool. So, understanding opportunity for filmmakers. So, how did I get here? So the reason why I'm presenting this presentation is because my story of how I became the general manager here at Liftoff is one that I would quite like to share. So going back 5 years, I I started as an actor, and I was working here at Pinewood in the canteen alongside auditioning for multiple different things: short films, feature films, motion capture, anything that I could really get my hands onto. And alongside auditioning, I was in the canteen. I was browsing Indeed and I saw this fantastic opportunity to intern with Liftoff Global Network. I had no idea really what Liftoff Global Network was at that point, but in the job description it said possibility to travel to some of the festivals. So traveling, I was like, that's something that I really want to do, and opportunity to work within the industry. So I was just like, right, sent off my application, didn't hear anything. So I was like, okay, well, I'm based at Pinewood. They're based at Pinewood, let's go and find their office. So I walked around the lot trying to find the SP block at the time, and I couldn't find them at all. And it was getting closer and closer to my shift, so I was just like, kind of put myself out of my comfort zone and didn't quite get the result I wanted. So I went to work and I did the shift, which was the lunchtime shift, and on my break, lo and behold, Ben and James walk into the canteen, and due to the power of social media, I knew what they looked like. So I'd done a little bit of homework by going onto Instagram and seeing what they were up to.
You stalked us.
I did, basically. I did. And I sat there having my lunch, and I saw them get their lunch, pay for their lunch, and I was sitting there, and I asked my colleague, should I go and talk to them? Should I not? Should I go and talk to them? Oh, I don't know. I thought, why not? Why not? What do I have to lose? So I jumped up, I walked, they would say ran, over to them and said, hi, I'm Natalie. Are you the guys from Liftoff? And their reaction was like, yes, who are you? So I explained my situation and said that I had applied and hadn't heard anything. And later that evening, I had an interview during a barbecue that was going on here at Pinewood. And here I am. So I interned for a while and then got promoted along the way. And yeah, all those opportunities of traveling around the world, working within the industry, and now presenting here to you guys and supporting other filmmakers. Yeah, I think it paid off. And that was the opportunity that I took. So that's how I got here. Yes, I hope you enjoyed my little story. So, the power of now. So this is a saying that's been said over and over and over again, but it holds so much weight. If I didn't react in that moment, if I didn't get off of my seat or eat my lunch and say hello to Ben and James, I wouldn't be sitting here now. So the power of now is all about reacting in that time, using the time that you have and going for it. So these are some awesome self-help books that I would highly recommend. The Power of Now, the one we just suggested, by Eckhart Tolle, is a wonderful, wonderful book. And there's another book here called The Power of Self-Confidence, Becoming Unstoppable, Irresistible, Unafraid in Every Area of Your Life by Brian Tracy, another wonderful book. Good Vibes, Good Life, How Self-Love is the Key to Unlocking Your Greatness by Vex King. And The Power of Habit, Why We Do What We Do in Life and Business by Charles Duhigg. And then my personal favourite, which is Everything is Figure-Outable by Marie Forleo. Forleo, her name is. So I will be referring to her book a little bit during this presentation, but that's the one I would highly recommend to anyone. But the thing with health self-books is that they all state the same thing. You have to intensify your opportunity and take them. Always be open to opportunity and take them. So, nobody says it better than Shia LaBeouf. Just do it. Do it. Don't let your dreams be dreams. I do not know why he sounded like that just then, but if you haven't watched the YouTube video, I highly recommend it. And if someone else can do a better Shia LaBeouf impersonation, I'd love to hear it. Yes. Don't just let your dreams be dreams. You've got to act in that moment. So we're going to talk about now your dreams. So what are your dreams? If you're sitting there in the chat room and you have a dream that you'd like to share with us, please put it in there and we'll list it in this video. I have so many dreams myself and goals and ambitions, and sometimes it's hard to keep track of all of those, and it's okay not to work on all of the dreams at the same time. You have a whole lifetime ahead of you, so prioritize the ones that are most important to you. So, for example, my best friend is an actor. She also studied at the RSC in Stratford-upon-Avon in Shakespeare, getting her master's. And after she graduated, she wanted to return to acting. So she was emailing lots of agents and not getting much response. So she decided to offer something to the agent in return for representation. So she sent off an email on her lunch break as she was teaching Shakespeare in a secondary school. In that email, she said, "My name is Elena. I studied at the RSC in Stratford-upon-Avon. I have a master's in Shakespeare. If any of your actors have an audition coming up with the RSC or have a Shakespeare monologue they need to prepare, I can help them. But in return, I would like to be represented on your books." Within 5 minutes, she had a response from that agent and they set up a meeting. And lo and behold, she's now represented and is going to castings. And she's also using the skills that she learned during that master's to help other actors get work. So that's an amazing opportunity there for the agent, an amazing opportunity for Elena, who is now represented, and she achieved that goal by giving something back to the industry. So we'll be exploring that idea a little bit more later on in the presentation. But another opportunity that a couple of filmmakers that we know quite well took, and I'd like to share that story with you now as well. So you may have heard this story in one of our presentations before, but The Silent Child is a short film that went on to win an Academy Award, and here it is next to our Season Awards trophy. So their story is that they actually submitted to our First Time Filmmakers Showcase for a live workshop here at Pinewood Studios. Now, when they submitted, their film actually wasn't complete. They hadn't colour graded it yet. So they emailed ahead and asked if it would be possible to submit this film. We said yes. We saw the premise and we saw where it could go. So we absolutely said yes to them coming and sharing their film in that workshop. From there, they completed the film. It then went on the festival circuit and they applied to lots of film festivals, including Academy-nominated film festivals. From there, it got longlisted for an Academy as it won one of those festivals. I can't remember which one it was. James, do you remember?
I think it was the Palm Springs.
I think it was the Palm Springs Film Festival, yeah. So it won there, and then it went on to the long list at the Academy. It got shortlisted, and lo and behold, it won the Oscar, and there they are, smiling ahead. In the photo there. Oh.
And that's their Oscar in the picture, right?
Yeah, and that is their Oscar in the picture that we have here, which I showed earlier. Yeah. So what they did, Rachel Shenton and Chris Overton identified a problem in the education system and something that was close to their hearts. If you don't know the story of Silent Child, it follows a small girl who is deaf, who is sent to a primary school, a state primary school, and there is no special needs support for her. So she's trying to go to school with no help, essentially. So this film raises that awareness. And they saw an opportunity within that to create something that they were both passionate about. And passion is something that will sell over anything else. And it will also keep you going through whatever projects you are currently working on. So yes, how does discovering opportunity work for indie filmmakers? Well, opportunities for creating content and for distributing content lay all around us. So here are some points that may be obvious, may not be obvious, but I'd like to talk through them here today. So locations and props. For example, you may have an uncle who has a petrol station and you can use it to shoot when it's not so busy times, or you have a log cabin in the woods that is, I don't know, built in the 1800s and needs work or whatever. That could be a fantastic location. Props, for example. So my brother collects 80s cars, 80s, 90 cars. I wouldn't call them classics, but he has a passion for collecting those cars. So he has Ladas, old Volvos, a Yugo, very unusual cars. It's an unusual hobby. But there's an opportunity there for me to use those cars within any films that I would like to create. So just have a think about what is accessible to you, what is in your surroundings, what can you use to create the work that you want to create. So going back to causes and what's close to your heart, I just told you the story about Rachel Shenton and Chris Overton with The Silent Child. What resonates with you? And it's really important to know your audience. James has done a whole YouTube tutorial on finding your audience, so you can find that on our channel. But it's so important to understand what it is that your audience wants. That will open up a multitude of opportunities to market your project to the correct people, to get people on board who is your audience, or people who want to help you get your project on the feet. And then, as you can see, number 4 is people. Who do you know that can help you get that project off the ground? It may be a musician who wants to try composing. Get them to help you with your film. It could be someone who wants to try art direction. Do you have someone who has that amazing location? Or it could be anything. Just opening your mind to these possibilities will unlock opportunities. So, as it states there, all of these opportunities that as indie filmmakers, we can draw upon. And if you are the closest person to that particular opportunity, 9 times out of 10, you'll be the best person to nail it. And that is so true. So, here are a list of 7 rules for discovering opportunities. The first one is something we've already touched upon, but that is passion. What are you passionate about? Talking with passion is sexy, and it sells. Nobody can sell your project better than you can. So have a think about that. Before you start getting people on board, before you start your project, what is it that you are 100% passionate about, and what is it that you're going to dedicate your time to make sure that you get it done? So passion. And laying a foundation. So you have to have some sort of roadmap. You have to know what your end goal is, otherwise you can't work towards it. So for example, I think it is YouTube, correct me James if I am wrong, but YouTube's goal is to be the biggest search engine on the internet. And that was their vision, and they're getting close to it. YouTube started as a place where you could put your home videos on and share that with other people. Now it is literally an education source. It could be anything you want it to be. So they had a roadmap ahead of how they were going to achieve that. What is your ultimate goal? How are you going to achieve that goal? If you just have time, write it down, see it on a piece of paper, see that roadmap, then you're way more likely to achieve that than just thinking, okay, this is my goal. Oh, it's a little bit unrealistic maybe, but why is any goal unrealistic? It's so achievable. Just lay those steps ahead, bite-size them, and you will get there. As long as you're passionate about it. So step 3 is be prepared to go the long way around. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. So, as I said at the start of this presentation, my goal was to be an actor. That's what I trained in, that's what I thought my vision was. Then I found Liftoff, and now I understand how the film industry works. I meet filmmakers and I network on a regular basis. I do way more than all of that than what I did as an actor. So, all of these opportunities, if I wanted to relight that spark as an actor, are right there in my hand. And that is essentially the long way round to getting to that goal. So yeah, be prepared to kind of go outside of the box and make your way to your goal. So remember, you have 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 1 mouth. So make sure you use them in the correct proportion. It's so important to listen to what the industry is saying, look at what is happening in the industry in that moment, and make the correct contact with other peoples. I'm going to refer back to this point a little bit later on in the presentation, but that's just something that is really important. So step 5 is stop comparing yourself to other people's stories. No 2 paths are ever the same. You have to find your own path and learn from other mistakes. This is so much easier said than done. I always compare myself to others, especially when I was an actor. I used to Google, how old was that person when they got that role? Or, no, that was probably the most thing I did Google. And I was just like, okay, well, I've got a couple of years until I need to be at that point. Or, oh, that person started acting when they were 40. Okay, that gives me a few years to figure out what it is that I want to do. But why am I comparing my journey to someone else's journey? This is your journey, and your journey is unique. So let it flow and let it take you to your goal. And like I said, a lot easier said than done. But if you can stop comparing, you will start to see the journey unfold itself at a lot faster rate. So 6 is recognition. So recognize the moments that of your motivation. Plan your endeavors. and recognize your moments of weakness. Harness them and change them into positives. So I think a really good example of this is, when are you most motivated to work on those projects? For example, myself, I get up, I have my cup of coffee, that's when I'm most motivated. So between the hours of 9 and 1 in the afternoon, I would say that that's my peak time of motivation, and that's the time I get jobs done. I understand that if you are in a full-time job, you're thinking, well, I'm working a 9 to 5 and then I have to find time for my passions. But if it is something that you are truly passionate about and something that you are striving to achieve, that motivation will come, and you will find the time. But just recognize when there is no point in working in that time, because the work that you produce isn't necessarily the best quality, and you'll wake up the next day, look at it and be like, oh, did I write that? And then you'll look back on something that you wrote in your peak time period and you'll be like, yeah, I'm a genius. I can do this. So just recognize those areas is another step to take. And step number 7 is letting go of your inhibitions. Again, another point which is a lot easier said than done. But realistically, nobody is willing for you not to succeed. And if they are, get them out of your life. Remove those negative people from your life and surround yourself with similar-minded people. If you can find someone who has a similar creative goal, you will feed off that other person and you'll ignite your project again. Fear of failure is another one that should probably be talked about here. It's so easy to say, well, who really is going to look at my project? Who really wants to see this? Or do I have time to do this? I don't know if I actually have time. And if you've lost passion for something, then that is absolutely okay. You can change what your goal is. You don't need to stick to the same goal. And if you do change, that isn't a failure. That's just something that you thought you wanted to proceed with, but it turns out it wasn't quite right for you. So that's absolutely fine. But talking about time, I think this is the next slide. Oh yeah, so actually going back to relieving yourself of negative and limiting beliefs, this is a little exercise that I've done myself and a few of my friends have, and it's something that I would like to share with you all. So if you are someone who faces those demons, just write them all down. Write down all the negative or limiting beliefs that have stopped you from pursuing your goal. Then, once you've written your list out, and hopefully it's not too long, but if it is, cross each and every one of them out and put bullshit, or no, I can do this, or just do it, as Shia LaBeouf always says, just do it. If you can physically see that barrier that's ahead of you, you can break them down step by step and overcome those inhibitions. Yes. So this is what I was getting to, and that's the opportunity cost of wasting your time. So the opportunity cost of wasting your time. So this is absolutely outstanding to me, and if you can physically see it, you'll be like, wow, I am wasting so much time every single day. So if you spend 30 minutes a day on your phone scrolling through social media, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, whatever it may be, that ends up being 182.5 hours a year, or 22 full 8-hour working days. What can you do in that time? So I've put a few examples on here that I think you could do in that time, and that would be 11 48-hour projects. That'd be pretty cool. Imagine all the film content you would have from that, and imagine the lessons you would learn from that. Or you could complete a short film from script to post. This is actually from Marie Forleo's book. So if you are interested, you can find all this information in Everything is Figureoutable. But going back to the chart, 60 minutes a day on emails, news, celebrity gossip, whatever you look at these days. That equates, so that's 365 hours a year, or 45 full 8-hour working days. That's insane. You can literally write a script, shoot, and do the post for a feature film in that time. That's just using 1 hour of your day, each day. And if that was 90 minutes of watching TV or Netflix or video games, then that equals 547.5 hours a year, or 68 full 8-hour working days. mind is blown. And that, in that time, if you were savvy, you could create or launch a profiterole. you could launch a profiterole.
You can launch a chocolate eclair.
You can launch a chocolate eclair, yeah. No, I can't even say it anymore. You could launch a profitable production company. So there's so many other ideas that you could do if you used your time in a better way. Yes. So this you can refer back to. I think is absolutely so amusing how time can be spent. Great. So another point, and I think it is a bonus point, is support your industry and your peers. Attend more film festivals, go to art exhibitions, go to networking events, theatre, and as I did, volunteer in a company or go and start an internship. If there's an area within the industry that you would like to try and you feel like you don't have the skills and you'd like to put it to a test, why don't you intern with a larger production company if they have an area that you're interested in? Then you can take those skills. So you're giving your time to them, which they need, and in return you're learning a new skill. There is no better way than to learn something, unless you want to go to university and spend thousands to do so. You can learn on the ground, and it is giving your time and in return learning a skill. But I have no regrets from doing that. So yeah, great. So going to a film market, this is something that I feel lots of people think is an exclusive event, but it's not. Anyone can go. Anyone can go to a film market. There are day passes, so you don't need to go for the full event. But I do highly recommend, as a serious filmmaker, that you attend one once in your lifetime, just so you can see what's going on. But if you are going to go with a plan. So lots of things happen at a film market. You can go to the marché, or you can go to EFM or AFM. So EFM is the European film market and AFM is the American film market. Go with the plan. If your plan is to meet 5 producers that can help you with your film, fantastic. That is your plan. But if it is to find out what sale agents are currently looking for, or just to get meetings with sale agents, if you have that plan of action in place, then you are more likely going to succeed. So this is where my point comes back. Remember, you have 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 1 mouth, but make sure you use them in the correct proportion. So people love to give advice. If you're a good listener to that advice, you'll find that the person giving you the advice will end up giving you opportunities. And this is how people work. They love to be the expert. They love to share their ideas, their thoughts on a particular project or on a particular thought. So yeah, use your senses and you will succeed, basically. But no, it is how people work. And what they say may spark an idea which will lead you onto the next stage of your project. Yes. And also keep notes. At film markets or during huge film festivals, there is quite a lot of drinking, I'm not going to lie, and networking events that offer free drinks. So if you are attending these events and your goal is to meet 5 producers that night and you succeed, write down on the back of the business card where you met, what your conversation was about, and if you have any plans to meet up after the market. Because it's so easy for people to be like, oh yeah, let's meet back in London, we can go for that coffee, we can do whatever. But if you have that down on a business card, or if you're like me and you keep spreadsheets of everything that happened, then when you refer back to those and when you start reaching out after the film market with those notes, then that other person's going to connect the dots as well. So it will just give you a heightened opportunity of reconnecting with that person. Yeah. So keep notes. And make sure that you have business cards as well. This leads on to something that we've talked about in other presentations, but I think it's super important, so I'm going to reiterate it here. And that is, you need to become more responsible with your enthusiasm for gaining knowledge to become better equipped with your output as an artist. And that basically means the filmmaker that rises from the dust, or also those that do as much as they can to better understand their audience and how others are doing with similar resources and opportunities. So here it comes. Attend more film festivals. You just never know who you're going to meet. You can't expect the industry to support you if you don't support it. So if you go to a film festival and you see a film that you think is incredible and the director's in the room, go and talk to them after the film festival. Don't approach them by saying, "Hi, I'm an actor. I loved your film. I'd love to be in something like that. Can I have an audition?" Because that won't work. But if you can approach them and say, "I loved what you did with that film. The themes there were amazing, and I am an actor myself, actually, and I was just wondering if we could go for a coffee and you could tell me a little bit more about how you got those ideas, what your casting process was, so I can then later on understand a better way to approach directors, to approach whoever, and get involved with projects." But don't just lay yourself out there. You've got to be able to give something back. It's exactly what Elena did at the beginning of this presentation with approaching the agent, offering something, and in return she got representation. So yeah. And create a mission plan. We kind of talked about this with creating your roadmap, but this goes into a little bit more detail. So search for those local film festivals, screenings in your area, and attend them. There are thousands and thousands of film festivals around the world. So if you are based in London, attend the film festivals that are based in London. If you're based in New York, go to the film festivals based in New York, because here you will meet the creatives who are living in your area. So it's a lot easier to connect and create those opportunities. Volunteer some of your time to help others in their projects. Why not? You will learn something, and in return you've probably built a relationship that you could take onto your own project. Engage with filmmakers whose work you find similar to your own. So again, it's connecting with like-minded people. Engage with filmmakers' work who you find on the next run up to yours. So if you're working on your second, third, fourth short film, but you want to take that step up to a feature, then find filmmakers who have just made their first feature film. Offer them a coffee and ask if you can have a chat about their process, how they got their project off the ground. Open those doors. So yeah, engage with filmmakers whose work you find inspiring. Again, if you have a linked passion, then it will work for you. And discover true indie content online, especially with how the world is at the moment. You can't physically attend film festivals, but they are all still happening online. And I'm sure if you emailed the festival itself and said, "I've just watched this film, I was wondering if you could put me in touch with this filmmaker," then the festival can reach out to that filmmaker asking if it's okay if they could do a formal introduction. There you go. Then you can connect with people during this time as well. So it's not just about live events. Think about things on an online level as well. Oh yeah, but you do have to pay for it and share it, because that's how the industry works. So yeah, keep working on those ideas, build a stable and reliable creative engine, and remember, you're not just one film. Nope. So yes, this is really sad actually. We were supposed to be in Cannes right now, but it's postponed and it will be taking place online, and we're going to be going there virtually, so I guess that's the same. But it'll be great, and everyone's kind of in this new, kind of not sure how it will work, but connecting with sale agents, connecting with distributors can be done over the phone and done via email. So we will be doing that. And following on from last year's success at Cannes, we're again taking projects and we are taking concepts as well. And we have meetings set up with over 50 sale agents and producers and VOD platforms such as Amazon and Netflix. And a big part of our membership entitles you to use this market service every year free of charge. So, are you a filmmaker looking to launch your career? If so, then please have a look at our professional membership. It includes awesome things and lots of opportunities, including free film submissions and script submissions, career road mapping sessions, and you can join us here in the audience once social distancing isn't an issue anymore. There is a jobs dashboard on there, and as I mentioned, we do film market representation at all the major film markets. Here's the link to the website. So yes. And then, I have to end on this final thought because it is something that sticks with me, because I think it was the first week that I joined that our co-founder, James Bradley, who is sitting behind me, said to me when I first started, there is a big difference between wisdom and intelligence. You're intelligent if you know that tomatoes are a fruit, but you are wise if you know that it doesn't go into a fruit salad. So yes, just have a little think on that. And I've got another quote here to back that up. So this is by Friedrich Nietzsche. There is more wisdom in your body than in the deepest philosophy, in your deepest philosophy, which means basically just go with your gut instincts and create those opportunities. Yes. So that is basically it. Do we have any questions in the chat room, James?
We've had a really great conversation actually between Hitesh Dewan and Catherine Carmichael.
Oh, hi, Catherine.
Yeah, hi, hey, Catherine. Catherine giving some great advice to Hitesh about writing screen work and stuff like that. Really, really great. You guys, if you're actually currently watching this later, after the actual live stream, you can if you open up this video in a browser, you'll be able to watch the chat room through. And Catherine gives some really good advice to Hitesh. It's worth checking out.
Cool, great. That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So thank you. Yeah, cool. So if there are no more questions, I just want to recap what our professional Facebook members get. So this is a private page on our Facebook page, it's the Lift Off Network members, and if you are a professional member, please come and join us on this page. It has lots of things going on, lots of opportunities. It's how we pick our sessions for career road mapping, how we can help guide you with your career. So it kind of, again, touches on the points that we mentioned in this presentation. But one thing that I should say is that if you comment on other people's posts, then if you comment on others' posts more than your post yourself in this page and look to support other fellow members with encouragement and advice, you'll stand a greater chance of getting picked for the things that we are offering out. It is all about collaboration, networking, finding out what other filmmakers are doing. So if you're engaging with the other filmmakers, we want to engage with you and support you. So yeah, you can find our Lift Off Global Network members page on Facebook if you just type that in at the top. But yes.
Only members.
Only members. So that's something that is for them. Just want to say thank you so much for joining us here today. And if you do have any further questions, we'll be hanging around for a couple more minutes. And you can type away in the chat room. James will be there. Cool. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's almost Saturday.